Hey there! So today I am going to teach you everything that I know and have learned and have done with Instagram to have success. So we're going to go over all the good stuff, your bio, the highlights, hashtags, tags, calls to action, captions that convert, how to get more engagement, how to do Insta stories, the do's, the don'ts, and some bonus tips that I have for you. So let's start with your bio. This is so important because it's your business card. It's the first impression that people see. It's the first thing that they look at oftentimes, and this needs to shine. So you want to make sure that your name is very clear. Now, if you are a teacher or you are in the military or in law enforcement and you can't use your full name, then use your first name and a middle name, something that still has your first name in it so that people will associate it with you and know you. Remember that you are your brand. And I know that a lot of people use different clever names like the Fit Happy Mom or things like that, but when people search that on the internet, they might not always be associating that with you. So I brand everything, all of my social media platforms, my blog, everything is just my name, so it's easy to find. Now, the first line of your bio should have something to do with this gig, what you are doing as a coach or as an influencer. So you can decide what kind of term you want to use. I always say lifestyle coach. You can say online health and fitness coach, virtual wellness coach, fitness coach, whatever you want to use, it's totally up to you. But that first line should be something related to business. And then your subsequent lines can be about your family, if you're a mom, you're a dog mom, whatever that is. And then you want to have a link. So I use Linktree. You can just Google Linktree. And it allows you to have multiple links. So in my Linktree, I have, if people are interested in joining one of my challenge groups as a challenger, they just want to do the workouts, I have a link to an application for that. They fill out the application, I send them info. I have the same thing for coaching. So it says, if you want to be a coach with me, click on this link. I have other links in there for different blog posts that I've put out. If you have a freemium, you can put that in there. So Linktree is nice because it allows you to have multiple links. The way Instagram is set up, you can only have one link in your bio. And oftentimes you're going to be making a post that may say, if you're interested in joining my next fit club, click the link in my bio. And then 3 posts later, you're going to say, if you're interested in being a coach on my team, click the link in my bio. So you want to have options in your bio. That's why I like to use Linktree. But you just don't want to have some random link there. You want to have a description. So I say, build your dream life and goal body with me here. That way people know, hey, okay, if I'm interested in getting in shape or I'm interested in doing what you do as an influencer, I'm just going to click on this link. So don't just have a random link floating there. Let people know what it is, what it's for. And then make sure that your profile picture is you, preferably you alone. I know it's really tempting to put a picture of our kids or our dog in there, but people aren't signing up with you. They're not following you for that. They really want to see you, and you are the star of this show. So stop hiding behind your dogs and your kids and really make yourself front and center. If you don't have any great photos of yourself, take one today. Seriously, just go face a window, make sure that your face is actually facing the window, and take a great photo. Smile, look happy, and then boom, you have a great photo. The next thing is highlights. And these are something you're going to build over time. But what I want you to do is to decide what 5 things you are going to be rotating your posts on. You do not want to just make every single post a sweaty selfie or about workouts, because guess what? That is annoying and people will not follow you or they will unfollow you because of that. You really, you are a real person. You're not just somebody who works out. So what are your passions? What are your interests? Who are you as a person? So those 5 things are what you're going to rotate between in your posts. So 1 is obviously going to be fitness. 1 is obviously going to be business, coaching. And then if you're a mom, motherhood. If you love Disney, Disney. If you love donuts, donuts. If you are super religious, then you can have your faith be part of that. But what are you going to be sharing? You do not want to just be, one-sided. You really want to be dimensional. So these are the highlights that I've built. So I started out on the far right. You can kind of see where I started. I was, mom life, fit life, travel life, coach life, foodie life. Those were my 5 topics that I rotated between. And then as I did stories on these, I started adding them to those highlights. But then I started to kind of evolve and create more highlights that build on those. So Superstar Life is related to coaching. Our team retreat in Disney, my new home, because now I'm sharing a lot of home decor, hair tutorial. I got a lot of people always asking how I curled my hair, so I did a bunch of stories on it, made that a highlight, so now people can quickly go and see that. When I was pregnant, all of the pregnant stuff I put in Prego Life. I did a whole birth story and put that there. Baby items that I love and buy, I put them there. So highlights are just a quick way for people to see who you're really about in a snapshot and decide whether or not they want to dive in and see these things that you recommend and that you love, or what Coach Life is all about a little bit more. So highlights are a good way for you to just decide what your top 5 are, start there, and then you can build from that. But this is a great way for you to not just be posting about your workouts. Now we're going to talk about hashtags, because hashtags are key. This is how you increase your exposure. This is how you find your people. You cannot make a post on Instagram without using hashtags. Every time I look at a coach's post and they don't have hashtags and they're telling me they're not having success, I'm like, well, where the F are your hashtags? So let's talk about hashtags. Instagram allows you to use a total of 30 hashtags per post. I usually will use 25 to 28 hashtags. Now, my method, my formula is that I like to use 10 hashtags that have less than 10,000 uses. So when you go to add hashtags to a post, now typically what I do is I make my post and then I go into the comments. After my post is posted, I go to the comments and I type my hashtags in the comments. So when I type in a hashtag, it will show me a number next to that hashtag, and that number is how many times that hashtag has been used. You want to find hashtags, again, that fall into this range. I use 10 hashtags that have less than 10,000 uses, and then I use 10 hashtags that have between 50 and 10,000 and 50,000, maybe 10,000 and 100,000. And then I use 10 hashtags that are a little bit bigger, but no bigger than 500,000. So I have 10 super small hashtags, 10 medium hashtags, and then 10 bigger hashtags that are between 100 and 500,000 uses. No more than that. And here's why. You are competing against everybody who's using those hashtags. So if you're using a hashtag that has 7 million uses, guess what? You are never going to be seen unless you are Kim Kardashian. So that's why it's really important to use smaller hashtags, because then you have a higher probability of being seen. So you also want to avoid general hashtags such as healthy, happy, cute, because look at the number of uses on those, 143 million for healthy. So if you take a picture of you and your salad and you hashtag healthy, guess what? Nobody's going to see it. Maybe your mom if she's on Instagram. Next is you want to avoid those large hashtags, as I said. So again, this is kind of general. Instead of using mom or mom life, you want to try to be more specific, like girl mom life, boy mom life, new mom life. Those have significantly less uses, so you have a higher chance of getting seen. And then you want to avoid using Beachbody hashtags. So do not use hashtag 21-day fix, hashtag morning meltdown, hashtag Shakeology, hashtag Beachbody, because guess what? The only people using those hashtags are Beachbody coaches. So no random Joe who needs to lose weight is going to type in hashtag 21-day fix, because guess what? They don't even know the 21-day fix exists. They don't know that term or that hashtag, so why would they search for it? So what I recommend doing is thinking of your ideal client or coach, depending on what kind of post you're making. So say you're making a post about fitness and you want to reach other women who need to lose weight or gain energy or whatever it is. I want you to think of that woman at the end of the day after she gets her kids to bed and she's exhausted and she sits down and she's like, okay, I'm just going to scroll Instagram. I'm going to search for Instagram for some things. What is she going to search for? What is she going to type in? So chances are she's not going to type in push to be your best or better for it or anything that's super motivational like that. Only coaches use those hashtags. So you want to think, what is she searching for? Kids clothes or clothes for her or, recipes or mom humor, mom probs, right? So that she can find other moms who are like in the same place as her and feel equally as exhausted and defeated at the end of the day. Same for coaching. If you're going to use like boss babe and girl boss and mom boss, guess what? The only people using those hashtags are other coaches. The average woman who is going and doing her 9-to-5 job isn't coming home at the end of the day and searching those terms because that's just not on her radar. She doesn't know this exists yet. So you have to be using hashtags that average woman would be searching for. So think about you before you found Beachbody. What were you on Instagram looking for? What do you go on Instagram and look at? Those are the hashtags you want to use. So when you actually go into Instagram and you click on the explore or that search, the magnifying glass, and you type in a hashtag, it will show you related hashtags, and then you can click on those related hashtags and see the ones that have smaller uses and really fit your vibe. So for example, I was using a hashtag recently. I didn't do my research. I just thought, oh, that's a cute hashtag and it doesn't have a lot of uses. So I was using it. And then one day I actually clicked on a hashtag and saw that the people using that hashtag were not my tribe at all. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to stop using this hashtag immediately. So you've got to do some research. So what I do is I have spent about an hour, and I do this once every month or so, and I will create 25 hashtags for different topics. So I'll sit down and I will find 25 hashtags that have to do with postpartum weight loss and body positivity and self-image and, weight loss, because I'm on that weight loss journey. So anytime I make a post that has to do with fitness or challenge groups, I use that set of 25 hashtags. I have a whole set of hashtags that have to do with coaching and, anything that's related to that. I have that in my notes. So I put these all in my notes app. So here's another tip. In my notes app, I have one note that says hashtags, and then I have multiple groups of 25 hashtags. So then if I am posting a picture of my kids, I have 25 hashtags that are about mom life and mom problems and girl mom life and girl mom fashion and all that kind of stuff. So depending on the post, I have a specific set of 25 hashtags that I copy from my notes and post into the comments of my photo. And they are all different. So I'm rotating between my 5 interests throughout the week. So my sets of hashtags are different throughout the week. You can get shadow banned. Shadow banned is when your hashtags don't work and people can't find you. If you use a hashtag and somebody clicks on it, you won't show up no matter what. You can get shadow banned for using the same hashtags over and over and over again. And this will happen to you. So you want to just vary your hashtags and make sure you're switching things up. So think about fashion, the brands that you're wearing in each photo. If you post a picture of your kid in a DockATot and you want to use hashtag DockATot, any of the brands of the outfits that they're wearing, like hashtag Carter's, all those types of things. So just be really specific with your hashtags. Avoid general ones, avoid large ones, avoid Beachbody ones, and avoid motivational ones, really, because people really aren't searching for those. The only people using those are the ones who are already motivated. Next, in order to get some exposure, is you want to tag your location. Research shows that people who geotag their location have significantly more engagement, and it doesn't have to be your exact location. So for example, I live in a town called South Fayette, but it's small, so I never hashtag South Fayette, because when I actually look at the people who are hashtagging South Fayette, it's all high school kids who are going to prom or football games, and I'm like, okay, those really aren't my ideal market. So I will tag it with Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the larger city that I am a part of. But using a more specific hashtag is actually better. So even if you're not at a Starbucks near you, if you tag it as that Starbucks, you're going to get more engagement and more exposure. So think of local businesses that you go to that are near you. If you're traveling somewhere, obviously use that city or locations in that city, and always have a location tag. Any brands that you are wearing in that photo, make sure you tag them, and then always tag yourself. So the brands are going to see this. And then as you grow your following, what's really cool about this is as you grow your following, they're going to reach out to you. So for example, I posted a photo of me wearing a certain brand of leggings, and I tagged them, and guess what? They emailed me and said, hey, we would love to collaborate with you. Can we promote your post, and can we pay you to do that? And I'm like, heck yeah. So of course, that's not going to happen to you if you have a really small following, but as your business and your following grows, these brands are going to see, they're going to catch wind of you because you keep tagging them, and then they might reach out to you for collaborations, and that's how you generate another stream of income. And that's also how you get more exposure from people who are also looking for those brands. I know I often, before I go on a trip, will go to Instagram and look at different brands to kind of see how people are wearing different dresses or styles or hats. Like I found this hat on Instagram, and then I went to their website and I bought it. Every single post needs a call to action. And I'm not talking about join my team or join my challenge group. So you want to get people into the habit of interacting with you. You want to train them. And this takes time. So when you first start posting, people probably aren't going to be responding to your calls to action. And you can't get defeated or discouraged by that. You just have to keep making them until they get into the habit of doing that, because then they're trained. So when you do make a call to action that says, go to the link in my bio to join my next group, or drop an emoji below if you're interested in trying my new workout, they are trained in already doing that, and they're more likely to do it. So every post should have some sort of call to action, such as double tap if you agree with me. Drop your favorite food emoji below if you're excited for, the 4th of July picnics this weekend. Tag a friend if they need to hear this. And then again, link in bio. Do you want this week's meal plan? Link in bio. Are you interested in checking out my new group? Link in bio. So just get into the habit of getting people to respond, asking a question. What advice do you guys have? Maybe always think about what season of life you're in. So for example, my kids right now are really having trouble sleeping. So I recently said, moms, I need help with sleep training. I know it's controversial. What are your thoughts? And that post blew up. Anytime you ask for advice, people are going to hop all over that. If you have 2 outfits, you can't decide which outfit to wear on date night or to a wedding you're going to, or you're shopping and you're in the dressing room and you take a selfie in the mirror of 2 different outfits, and then post that and say, which one do you guys like more? Oh my gosh, that's going to blow up. Hairstyles. I'm thinking of getting my hair done. Which of these do you like better? That's a great way to get engagement. People love to give their opinions. So you just want to ask yourself with every single post you make, how am I asking people to interact with me? Am I ending every single post with a call to action? Next is the aesthetics of your feed. So variety is key. You do not want to have a feed full of selfies, full of you in the center of your photo in the same pose. That gets old and boring, and nobody wants to follow you for that. What you have to remember about Instagram is it's all about aesthetics. It's a visual platform. And so that can be intimidating if you don't have photography skills. And guess what? I don't have any photography skills whatsoever. I take all of my photos on my iPhone, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I do to edit them. But I've learned my photos at the beginning were awful, but I have learned what people have taught me and I've implemented it. So I'm telling you that you want to be focusing on your angles. So look at that top left picture of my baby. It's in a very different angle, right, than just me taking it of him overhead or straight on. So you want to make sure that you're getting a variety of angles, a variety of distances. You don't want every photo to be the exact, you in the center of your square in the same exact depth. So some photos should be close up, some should be far away, some should be a wider shot, a wider angle, and just play with that depth. You want to make sure that you have a transformation photo in your top 9. So there's 3 rows. That's your top 9. You want to make sure that at all times there is some sort of transformation photo featuring you in the top 9. And maybe you don't have a huge transformation. That's fine. Show the small transformations you're making. Or maybe you don't have any weight to lose. Well, I want to see that consistency. I want you to continue to show people that you are still making gains. You're building muscle. You're maintaining. That is just as effective as losing weight. So in your top 9, you should always have a transformation. And then most importantly, you have to be in your feed. Do not post multiple photos of your kids without you in them or you somewhere in there. So if you have 3 photos in a row of your kids, then you have a problem. The number one way to grow your Instagram is by posting photos of you. Research has shown this. So I know that it's easy to post a picture of your kids. I have pictures of my kids on here. You see that. But I am also in there a lot. So my rule of thumb is that for every picture of my kids that I'm not in, the next one has to be of me. So I will never post 2 pictures back to back where I'm not in them. So only 1 picture without me before I post another one, okay? I hope that makes sense. So make sure that you are in your photos, that you are creating this visually appealing feed that people want to see. You literally have less than 5 seconds to capture someone's attention and for them to decide whether or not they want to follow you. So make it pretty, make it diverse. Don't make it bland and boring where it's just pictures of your kids and you in the center of every photo. Now, the secret to posts that sell are stories. And I'm not talking about Instagram stories. I'm talking about the captions that you are writing on your stories. You have to tell a story in every single photo. Not every single photo, but I would say 99% of the photos need to tell a story. What is the story behind that photo? What story is on your mind today? Because guess what? Stories are how people relate to you. If I start telling you a story of my childhood bedroom, you immediately start thinking of your childhood bedroom. So you co-create when somebody begins to tell you a story. So if you want to reach people, if you want them to see your post and read your caption and feel compelled and moved to join you and to say, yes, I want to join your challenge group. Yes, I want to be a coach with you. You have to be leading with stories. And this is a huge trend in all of social media right now. Short captions that are just a short quote or something funny are not doing as well anymore. Instead, longer blog type posts that are stories are what sells, are what people want to read because it really connects them with people on a deeper level than just some superficial quote with like a flower picture. So before you post, I always want you to ask yourself, what is my intention? What is my purpose here? Am I just posting to post so that Ashley knows I posted for today? Or am I posting in order to connect with that woman who I know is struggling to find clothes that fit and, struggling with her self-confidence or struggling to lose the 70 pounds she has to lose or have the energy to play with her kids? I want to reach that woman. I want you every time you post something to ask, does this post have a purpose? Is it going to reach someone and make them feel something? Or am I just taking up space and making white noise? And it doesn't always have to be something deep and powerful and moving like, oh, join me. A lot of the times when I post pictures of my kids, I'm talking about motherhood and the struggle of motherhood and how, yes, I post these beautiful photos, but behind the photos, I am a hot mess and my house is a mess and I'm crying and, I'm exhausted. And that just shows other moms out there like they're not alone. And that is the real key. If you want people to follow you, to trust you, to like you, to join you, they have to relate to you and know that you're not this perfect thing or you're not just somebody who's posting to post just for, to have their name out there. So I always ask myself, is somebody going to read this post and say, so what? So what? Does it have a so what factor? And sure, your posts aren't going to resonate with everyone, but if everyone is like, okay, so what? Then you probably shouldn't post it. Instead, I want you to ask yourself, is somebody going to read this and say, oh my God, me too? That's me. That is the holy grail. Every time I write a post, whether it is trying to recruit somebody to be a challenger or a coach, or just to, post about my kids or life, I always write with the intention of having somebody read it and say, oh my God, girl, me too. How did you know I was feeling that way? I could have written this post myself. How are you in my head? Like, how do you know these things? These are what's called pain points. So pain points are things that we struggle with and we know that other people are struggling with. And when you push those pain points or those buttons, people are more likely to take action, to say, yes, girl, you get me and I get you. I will join you. I will do this with you. Or they're going to continue to type in your name every day to see what you're posting until they're ready to join you. So every single time I make a post, I ask myself, what is my intention? Does this have a purpose? And is somebody going to say me too? And if not, I don't post it. And so I'm not deterring you from posting because you have to be posting in this business. I post 6 to 7 or more times a week. So that's at least once a day. But I am just very intentional with what I post. And I don't just post to check things off. I post to really connect with people. And that is why I have success. That is why I can pull in high numbers, not because I'm inviting a bazillion people a day. While you do have to do that at the beginning, I have really mastered the art of storytelling and connecting and making women feel like they know me and trust me and want to join me. So if you can do that, then your business will take off. And that is probably one of the hardest things. It's easy to send a million messages to people, right? Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. What's more difficult is to really tap into your vulnerable side and to really put yourself out there and how you're really feeling and maybe face criticism and judgment. But that's all in order to help people and to find the ones who really relate to you. So if you can master that, then this business will be a breeze for you. Now, I have a specific formula that I follow in order to do this. So every post starts with a hook. So I'm a former English teacher, and this is how I would teach students to write essays. The hook is the first line. You have to hook people in. The first line is everything. If your first line sucks, nobody is going to click the little button that says more to read anything else. They're just going to keep on scrolling. But if your picture and your first line hook them, then you are good to go. So I put the most energy into my hook. A lot of times I will write the post and then I will figure out like what is the most meaningful phrase or sentence that I have in this post, and I will move that to the top, and that's my hook. Or I'll write the post and I'll say, okay, now that I have this post fleshed out, what is the hook that I can add? So my hook isn't always the first thing that I write. Sometimes it's the last thing that I write because I really know what kind of vibe I want to put out there, but it has to be an attention grabber. It has to be something super catchy, clever, emotion evoking, etc. Next, I tell a story. Right? So I paint the picture of what that workout was like and why I didn't want to do it, or how I'm feeling now, or what my transformation journey has been like, or what it was like for me when I wanted to sign up as a coach, but my husband didn't want me to, and what those early days of hustling and the late hours of the night and the early morning were like, and now the freedom that I have. Or I tell a specific story of my childhood, of growing up and what that was like. It's those specific stories that people are going to resonate. And don't allude to the story, be specific with your story. So for example, for a while as a new coach, I would say, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I don't come from a privileged background. And that was just too general and too vague. So then when I started telling specific stories about that, such as I didn't have a bedroom until I was 10 years old. I slept on a little pull-out couch in my dad's room until I was 10, and we lived with my great-grandparents. And then my great-grandparents, we were able to clear out the attic, and I moved up there, and I didn't have air conditioning. And so in the summer, it would be 110 degrees up there, but I was so excited to have my own room. right? That paints a picture for people. People remember that story, and that makes them realize, oh, okay, yeah, she doesn't come from privilege. She didn't have money. So don't allude to the story. Don't be vague. Tell the specific story. So for example, instead of being like, oh, I am doing this so I can be at home with my kids. Okay, what does that mean? That's too vague. That's too general. Instead, you want to say something like, my daughter had a school play today and I couldn't go. And all the other moms were texting me pictures of her and I cried at my desk because I wasn't there for her. So you best believe that I am going to be putting in work tonight so that next year I am at that play and I am the one sending moms pictures of their kids because they couldn't be there. That's why I'm doing this job. So don't allude to the story, tell the specific story. And then always end with a call to action. Again, double tap if this resonates with you, drop an emoji, give me a high five below if you are on this journey too. Click the link in my bio if you want more info. Peep my stories for a behind the scenes look into what I'm doing today. Always have a call to action. Now, I want you to always smile in your photos. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So never show up looking miserable or sad in your photos. I know that this isn't easy and life isn't easy, and there are days where you're going to feel really down, right? That's just life. But don't ever show up on social media like that, because you are only going to attract other people who are down, and that's not who you want. You want to be a ray of sunshine. You want to be a glimmer of hope every single time you show up on social media. And yeah, you have to fake it some days. You have to fake it till you make it. But I also want you to be super relatable. So I don't want you to always paint this picture of how life is perfect and you're happy and your kids are so well behaved and your kids never watch TV or eat chicken nuggets, because that's not relatable. Now, if that's you, props to you. But I'm going to tell you that most women out there, that's not them. So I posted a photo like this, and I do this frequently. I put this in my stories a lot, of how my house is a disaster and things are just crazy, but I'm still smiling, right? So I'm showing women that it's okay to be a hot mess. So I just want you to remember that your vibe attracts your tribe. How you are showing up on social media is who you're going to attract, but don't be perfection. Do not be this perfect person that is not relatable, because then you're never going to have success. And I will tell you this right now. If you are posting, if you're doing all the things and you're like, I'm not having success, the reason is that you're not relatable. People don't like you. People don't find you relatable. So I know that's harsh and you're probably like, whoa, like you just totally hurt my feelings. And I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I want you to do a gut check and a social media audit and ask yourself, are you really being you? If you have a sister or a best friend, would you ask them, like, am I showing up on social media the way I really am in real life? Or am I being someone I'm not? And that's 9 times out of 10, the reason why coaches aren't having success is because they sign up to be coaches and they try to be someone they're not. They get on this high horse of, I'm an influencer, I'm a coach, and I have to be perfect and have my shit together and eat well and stick to my meal plan and do my workouts and inspire people. And they become annoying and not relatable. So be you. Do not get on your high horse. Just be relatable. And that is how people are going to like you, know you, trust you, and join you. Another thing for the visual aesthetic is that you want to have a consistent theme. Instagram is all about aesthetics and themes. So Google this, Lightroom Mobile Presets Etsy. You want to download the free app Lightroom, and then you want to buy a preset set of filters that you're going to download, and they come with directions on how to get them in Lightroom. And then every photo you take, you're not just going to post that to Instagram. You're going to take that photo, you're going to put it in Lightroom and apply the preset to that photo, and then you're going to post it to Instagram so that every photo in your Instagram theme has a consistent color and theme and vibe to it. So these are examples that I screenshotted from Etsy, and look at the prices here. They're super affordable. They're all, under $12. The most expensive one is $12.87 because it has 15 different options, 15 Lightroom options. So you want to go on there and you just want to find like what really speaks to you. Are you somebody who likes clean tones, warm tones? Are you somebody who likes bright blues and colors? Do you like vibrant pinks and bold colors? Or do you like bright and airy and white? So find what speaks to you and then download or buy, you know, for very cheap, buy that preset and start using it. So that when people come to your page, they quickly are seeing that, oh my gosh, yes, she is an influencer. Yes, she has this beautiful theme, this beautiful feed, and I want to follow her. So the first thing I do when I look at people's pages and feeds is I look at their aesthetic. I look at their presets and their theme. And if I'm like, oh, they don't have one, like I typically won't follow them or look at any of their posts. But if they have this beautiful feed, I will click on every photo. So that is really the key. Now, these inspirational images or memes, never post these. I mean, not never, but limit them. I highly recommend just taking the quote and using that as your caption with a photo of you. So snap a selfie and then take the quote and put it as the caption. Or what I do is I screenshot these and then I put them in my stories. I'll crop it so it doesn't look like a screenshot, and then I put them in my stories. So my feed is still photos of me and my face and my kids and my life, and then my stories has this inspiration, has the humor, and all that kind of stuff. So you really want to differentiate. Your feed has to be beautiful. It has to be magazine worthy. And you have to think of big brands, Lululemon, Target, Nike. They are not posting ugly photos or things that are off-brand on their feed. They're putting a lot of that stuff in their stories. So the stories is the real raw footage. It's like your family camcorder, that you go back and you watch family movies from when you were younger. And it's raw and it's unedited and it's funny and it's just like, wow, like that's who we really are. That is what your stories are for. Your feed is the magazine. The feed is what brings people in and captures them, and then the stories is where they really get to know you and love you. So you really have to differentiate the two. So I really recommend avoiding putting these kinds of images in your feed. Use them as captions or put them in your stories. Okay, now we're going to talk about engagement, which is like the most important thing here. So Instagram is all about engagement. People commenting and liking on your photos, sending you DMs, watching your stories, responding to your stories. And there's an algorithm. So what happens is if you make a post, and within the first hour of that post being published, if it gets a lot of engagement, people commenting or liking, Instagram says, this is a good post, people like it, let's push it out to more people. If you make that post and nobody likes or comments on it, Instagram says, this post sucks, nobody wants to see it, and they bury it, and then nobody sees it. So that's how you'll have some posts that do really well and others that don't. But there is a way that you can beat the algorithm per se. So number one is knowing when to post. So you this is just common sense that you don't want to be posting at 10 o'clock at night or midnight. People aren't on Instagram at those hours. They're sleeping or they're watching TV or doing other things. Super early in the morning, again, is probably not the best time because they're not going to see it right when you post it because they're sleeping or getting up or getting their kids ready. And by the time they get onto the app, so much time has elapsed that Instagram has buried your post because nobody's been engaging with it. So you really want to focus on those prime times. If you convert your Instagram account to a business account, which is free, but you don't really have to do that right now, it will tell you analytics and tell you when the best times to post are. Or there are other apps out there. There's one app called When to Post. You can download that, and it will tell you when your audience is online. And you also have to think, does that really fit with my family time? So for example, one of my prime times to post is 8 o'clock at night, and that's when I'm putting my kids to bed. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to post then. But my second best time to post is 12 p.m. So lately I've been posting at noon, and I set aside 30 minutes to post at noon. And here's what I do. So I sit down, I make my post, and then I immediately respond to any comments that are coming in. And then I go to yesterday's post and I respond to any of the comments that I missed. right? So anybody who had commented on that photo after the 30 minutes that I was on Instagram, I respond to all of those comments. And then I like those comments. So this is a good tip that I learned from a YouTuber. So what you do is you sit there, and if people are commenting, you comment back, but don't heart their comments. Instead, wait until the next day when you make your next post, and then go back, and even though you responded to their comment, heart their comment, because that's a little ping notifying them that you're online, that you're interacting with them, and then they're more likely to check out your page, see that you have a new post. Instagram is more likely to push it out to them. So that's how you can get more engagement on your posts. So sit down and respond to comments for your current post and then your previous post. Also be active in your hashtags. So maybe the comments aren't coming in right away, or you don't have any other comments to respond to. Go to your hashtags. Oh, what I do is I post, and then I posted my hashtags, in the comments. So then click on one of your hashtags and start engaging with the posts in that hashtag. So if you're using hashtag #GirlMomLife, then you need to go to that hashtag and start liking and commenting on those posts that other people are making with that hashtag. Instagram is going to say, okay, she's engaging with this hashtag. We're going to push her post out to more of these people. Engage with other posts. So find a blogger or some social media influencer that's not a Beachbody coach, that you really like, who has a decent following and gets a lot of engagement. Go to her post and then go through her comments and start also responding to people's comments, liking and hearting their comments, because then they're going to see, oh my gosh, who is this person who just liked my comment or responded to me? And then they're going to check out your page. And if you have a visually appealing page and they like who you are, they're going to follow you and start looking at your stories and engaging with you. And then Instagram is going to say, okay, look at her engaging with other people's posts. We're going to push her post out more. Okay. So it's all about engagement. This is really about relationships and finding people and building real relationships and talking to people. The worst thing you can do is post and ghost, or post and leave the app. So always set aside 30 minutes to post and be on the app actually interacting with people. And then also get into your DMs. So these are your direct messages. This is a great opportunity for you to be responding to messages, messaging new people, etc. Because then again, Instagram is going to say, oh, she's in the app, she's engaging with people, we're going to push her content out. Another good tip is in the Instagram direct messages, you have the option to send a voice memo or to actually send a video, kind of like an Insta story. And Instagram considers that to be rich content and weighs that more heavily than just written text. And so by you being in your DMs, sending voice memos, sending videos to people, again, that's going to beat the algorithm and help your posts get pushed out to more people and get more engagement. So engagement is king. You always want to be getting engagement and giving engagement. That's how you're going to grow your following. You're going to get more people to see your posts through your hashtags. You're going to get more people to like and comment on it. And guess what that leads to? More people filling out your applications to say they want to join you, more people for you to message and invite, more people for you to talk to. So a lot of times when coaches tell me, like, I've run out of people to talk to, like, I don't have anybody liking my photos to message. Well, you're not using hashtags, you're not engaging, you're not out there finding new people or building relationships, and that's why you have nobody to talk to. So that is all on you. So you set aside the time to engage with people and do these things, and I guarantee you will find that you're getting more people seeing your posts and engaging with your posts, and then you can have more conversations. I want to remind you that you get what you post for. So if you are only posting stuff about fitness, guess what? You're only going to get challengers. The number one thing I hear is, I don't know how to get coaches. Why can't I get coaches? Well, you're not posting anything about coaching. So what I typically tend to do is I will break apart my month, and the beginning of the month, I'm always focused on getting challengers. And so the first 2 weeks, I am really focused on my transformation, on fitness posts, on body positivity, on self-image, on confidence. So all of my posts kind of have that theme. And remember that where attention goes, energy flows. So that's how I get my challengers. And then I'll switch it during the second half of the month and I post about coaching and lifestyle and the life that I've created or the things that I'm able to afford. And as a new coach, you don't have to be making a lot of money. If you made enough money to pay for your groceries or fill up your tank of gas, that is something to be sharing. You have to remember that a lot of people struggle to do those simple things, and this could change their life and help them with that. So don't wait until you have these big things to share. It's the smaller wins that people actually relate to and respond to better. And so then I'll post about coaching and everything is related to coaching, and then I'll get my coaches. So you have to be, again, intentional and posting with a purpose because you get what you post for. Now, let's talk about Insta stories because as I said, your feed is what catches people, but your stories are how they fall in love with you and actually join you. What do I Insta story in a day? I live a very boring life. I hear this a lot. So number one is your workout clips. So what I do is I put my phone across the room, and I actually don't use the Instagram app for this. I just use my camera and I put it on the video, and I'll record myself doing short clips of the moves. And then I go into the app Hype Type, and that's how I add music, text, speed it up, all that kind of stuff. It creates short little clips. Now, the reason I do this is because I share my Insta stories from Instagram to Facebook directly. And Instagram, for some reason right now, if you try to add music to an Instagram story within the Instagram app, it says you cannot share this to Facebook for whatever reason, I guess copyright reasons. So a workaround is using Hype Type. So I use Hype Type, I add music, and then I can put it in my Insta stories, and then it automatically goes to Facebook. So yes, there's a lot of steps here. I have to record it in my camera app, and then I crop it. So if you hit edit on the video, you can then shrink the bars and cut off the beginning and the end. So it's just like the middle, the prime of your workout move. And then I put that into Hype Type. I add my music, my text, I speed it up, I save it, and then I add it to Instagram stories, and then it automatically sends to Facebook stories. So that's what I do. I share my workouts that way. Show you working the business. Whenever you sit down to do something creative or check into your challenge group or log your own workout or tune into a team page or you're listening to a podcast, screenshot it, take a picture, share that, show people the hustle. Another thing is that I always get coaches who say, I can't get coaches who want to work the business. I'm only getting lazy coaches who don't want to do anything. That's because you've sold them on something that they think is easy, that doesn't require work. So the more you show the hustle, the work behind this, the more you're going to get coaches who want to work and put in the hustle and know that this is what they have to do. Next is talk to the camera. And you should not be afraid to do this because chances are not a lot of people are following you or watching your stories right now. That's going to grow over time, but you have to get comfortable talking on camera because all of the research shows that it's video that is king right now in terms of selling because people are not going to get to know you based on a post that they see and read. They're going to get to know you by hearing your voice, seeing your face, seeing how you react, and it doesn't have to be perfect. The best stories are when you're trying to tell an Insta story and somebody knocks on the door and the dogs bark, and how you react to that is what people want to see, right? You swearing at them or getting frustrated. Do not try to be fake. Do not try to be like, oh, the mailman's here, when really you're like, son of a bee, damn dogs, etc. Just be you. People really want to get to know you. So just document your entire day. Why is reality TV so popular right now? Right? Because it's real and raw and we get to see people as who they really are. So talk to the camera and talk to that one person that you want to attract. So if you're going to be talking about fitness and your new group that's starting, just think of you before you found this and what you needed to hear and visualize that person in the camera. Just pretend you're talking to that person. Same with coaching. If you're going to start talking about coaching, think of you, the girl who needs this for whatever reasons they may be, and just picture her. Don't try to appeal to the masses, appeal to one person, because when you are really specific and your message is specific to one person, then those types of people are going to be who hears it and relates to it. If you are too general, it's just going to go above everyone's heads. Nobody's going to relate to you. And then lastly is add humor and entertainment. Give people a reason to watch. If you are so damn boring and dry and monotonous and repetitive and predictive every day, then nobody's going to want to watch you. So I try to vary mine. I don't show workout clips every day. I don't show my personal development every day. I try to switch it up and show funny memes, funny videos. If my husband does something that annoys me or makes me laugh, I make sure I put that in my stories because that's relatable. So just give people a reason to keep wanting to come back because you're funny or you're real or you're a hot mess or you're so awkward. You're such a train wreck that people can't help but want to watch you. So just be you. This is from Shalene, and I love this. So she says you should do read Dick daily, and R stands for be relatable. So in your stories, you should have some stories that have nothing to do with the business. They're just about you and your life, mom life, laundry, going to work, whatever it may be. E is for educate, enlighten, or entertain. Give a tip. I love to share my food. People love to see what you're eating for some reason. It's so funny. So I will do days where I document a full day of eating. Or when I go shopping, I'll share what I'm buying at the grocery store. Or I will share, again, funny clips or memes. Dialogue in the DM. This is curiosity marketing. This is huge. This is how you can get people to message you. So if I'll go shopping and say I find an amazing pair of leggings that fit just like Lululemon and don't fall down and don't give me a muffin top and are so comfy, I'm not going to say, here's the store I bought them at and here's what they cost. Instead, I'm going to say, message me if you want the deets. And that way people are going to respond to that DM and say, girl, tell me where you got those pants. I need these in my life. And then you can actually start a conversation where it may lead to an invite instead of you randomly messaging someone and being like, hey, do you want to be a coach on my team? Right? So you want to get dialogue going. You want people to message you. So give them a reason to message you. So withhold certain information and say, message me if you want the info. I do this a lot with recipes. So I'll make, healthy funfetti muffins. And then I'll say, DM me if you want the recipe. I won't just say, here's the recipe, right? And then I'll get flooded with messages from people who are like, oh my God, I need that recipe, right? Next is interaction. Every day you want to be asking people to do something in your stories. So have a poll and always try to have 2 positive answers, especially if it's something you're trying to sell. So if you're talking about coaching and you're saying, hey, I can send you some info. Would you be interested in getting paid to get fit? The poll option should be yes and hell yes, or oh my God, send it to me right now. I can't wait to see it. Something like that. So 2 positive options only. Or it could be something funny. I often do some sort of mom humor meme, and then I'll say, I'll have one poll option be the laughing emoji and the other one be, oh my gosh, me too, right? And again, Instagram is seeing that people are interacting with you, that you have engagement, and this is how they're going to push your stories to the front of people's list of stories so that you show up and play for them, and how they're going to push your posts into the top of feeds. There's that little sliding bar with the heart eyes. There's a quiz option, again, getting people to DM you, responding to your I had to take some water, drink some water, responding to your stories. And then lastly is capture emails. And this may not be something you do right away as a brand new coach, but as you kind of get your feet under you and you realize what you're doing, I do recommend having a system where you're collecting emails, because then you can do email marketing, which we'll talk about in a whole nother video. But having a list of emails is so key, because here's what, if you notice, if you signed up with me, you probably noticed that I only really talked to you through email, right? The whole process was done through email. And here's why. If Instagram were to go away, which there have been times in the past few months where it has been down for entire days at a time, and we can't message anybody, we can't post, that's our business. But on those days, I'm not freaking out because my entire business is in my emails. I have everyone's email who I have been talking to, and that's how I sign people up, not in the Instagram DMs. So Instagram can go down, and I still have thousands of emails that I've collected over the years of people who are interested, and I'm going to continue marketing and talking to them there. So you can say, if you want to see this week's meal plan, send me your email in a DM, and I'll email you my meal plan to check out. If you want info on my new group, DM me your email, and I'll send you the info to check out. So you want to be collecting emails. And at the beginning, when I talked about that link in your bio, and I said, Linktree, I have forms in there. So I use Wufoo. You can use Google Forms. Doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. But what I do is it simply just says, what's your name, what's your email, and where did you find me? Facebook, Instagram, etc. And so then I have all of their emails. So once they say, yes, I'm interested in losing weight, I want to join this fit club, I want to do whatever workouts you're doing, instead of me sending them all the information in Instagram, I am having them fill out that form, clicking the link in my bio, giving me their email address, so then I have their email address forever, and then I'm emailing them the info. So I am always trying to collect emails. So every day, once a day, I will make some sort of call to action that says, if you're interested in learning about being a coach, if you're interested in my superfood shake, if you're interested in my mama juice that gives me life, which is energized, so I have the swipe up feature. So when you have 10,000 followers, you get the swipe up feature where you can embed any link or form. But before I had that, I would say, go to the link in my profile or just DM me your email and I'll send you the info. So there you go. I'm capturing emails. I'm getting engagement. People are taking action on my account by messaging me or clicking the link in my bio. And then I have their emails and I can continue to market to them, for the rest of time. Okay, so that's ridiculous. Here's some story hacks in order to get more engagement and exposure. So number one is, let's talk about the color background, because I know a lot of people are like, how do I get this color background? So what you want to do is you want to open stories. You want to just take a normal picture in your Insta stories, and then you're going to click on the pencil icon in the upper right-hand corner, and then you're going to select a color. And then you're just going to tap anywhere on the screen and hold your finger down for 2 seconds. And then voila, the whole screen turns into that color. So that's how you can get a blank background with any color you want. And then what is recommended by all Instagram gurus is adding your location. And again, it doesn't have to be like your home address, but it could be a location that's nearby or just the city you're in. And then 1 to 3 hashtags. And this is actually where you can use larger hashtags. So in your posts, remember, you want to have small hashtags. Everything needs to be pretty much less than 500,000 uses. But in your stories, this is where you can use mega hashtags that have a lot more uses. And this is just how you can get more exposure. And then actually cover it with a sticker or a GIF or some sort of text. So here's an example. So I was saying, snuck out of the house, and then I hashtagged mom life, mom probs, coffee is life. Those are all pretty big hashtags. I geotagged it with a Starbucks, and then I put this little Starbucks sticker over top of it. So that was a story, and that is going to reach more people, because when people type in those, a lot of people don't search hashtags in stories yet. And so this is how you can get more exposure. That's why we recommend doing that. So just be intentional. Take the, I don't even know how many extra seconds it took me to do that, but just take the few extra seconds it takes to tag it and hashtag it and cover it up. Okay, now, how do I grow my following? This is like the number one question, right? I'm doing all these things, I'm posting, I'm doing stories, but only 5 people are seeing my stories. So how am I going to sell to these 5 people? I need more. And yes, this is all a numbers game. The higher the followers you have, obviously, the more people who are going to be interested in joining you. But I do, quickly before I go into this, I do want to I love this analogy of, I'm sorry, I have a sore throat, so let me take a sip of water. Say you have a dinner party and you have 12 people, 12 friends and family members at your dinner party, but you are out in the street banging pots and pans trying to get more people to come to your dinner party instead of serving the 12 people at your table. This is the reality of new coaches. New coaches have a warm market. You have friends and family and acquaintances and quote friends and followers on social media who've been following you, or who you went to high school with, or you know somehow, that already know, like, and trust you, yet you're too afraid to serve them, to ask them if they would be interested. And they are the ones who are at your table saying, yes, we're interested. And instead, you're too afraid to give them anything or serve them. So you're out in the street trying to get random people to come join you. And it sounds ridiculous, because it is ridiculous, and that's exactly what new coaches do. So I don't want you to think that you need to be out in the street trying to find new people to come to your party tonight. You already have people at your party tonight. They already know, like, and trust you. So start with your warm market, but you have to be growing your cold market. You have to be finding those strangers, because it takes 3 to 6 months for them to join you. So the people you are finding and connecting with on Instagram today, they're going to join you in 3 to 6 months, not today. So you have to have that long-term game in mind. So how do I grow my following? Number one is you have to show up in your photos, your face, right? Your brand. They're not going to join you because you post a million pictures of your kids. They want to see you. You have to create a feed that people want to follow. That comes down to it. Again, are you likable? Are you relatable? And is your feed aesthetically pleasing that they would want to see posts from you? And again, I'm not trying to be rude, but I want you to do a gut check and ask yourself, like, would I want to follow myself? The 531 method. When you find someone that you like and you would like them to follow you and you want to kind of have them join you, like 5 of their photos, comment on 3 of them, and then send them 1 message and then follow them. So that's important. You want to follow them after you do these 3 things, or before you send them the direct message. But that is a great way to build those relationships. I like to find a big influencer account and look at her followers. Again, non-Beachbody. Do not look at other Beachbody coaches. Find someone who has a ton of followers who's not a Beachbody coach. And oh my God, please do not say, I'm only finding Beachbody coaches. I don't know the exact number right now, but there's something like, 50 million daily users on Instagram. And in reality, there are only about 2,000 Beachbody coaches who are actually working the business and showing up on social media. So you're trying to tell me that out of like 50 million people, you can only find the 2,000 coaches that are out there? Because there are a hell of a lot more people out there. You're just not finding them. So don't whine to me with that excuse. So find someone out there who has a ton of followers. Go through her followers and engage with the people who you think you like and follow them. Search hashtags. Again, this is a great way. Find a hashtag that is really, really on point for your season of life and who you are. And then find people who are using that same hashtag. Because guess what? Chances are they're going to be your long lost bestie, because they're just like you. They're in that same season of life. They like the same things, same brands, etc. And then some not quick and easy, but other options are Captivate and Cleaner. So these are 2 apps. Captivate is how you can mass follow someone else's followers. So again, you would find somebody who you really like, who has a decent number of followers. Captivate will automatically follow their followers over a certain time period. You can't take too many actions on Instagram within a 24-hour period, or Instagram thinks it's a robot or a scam and will block you and kind of shut you down and won't let you do anything. So Captivate will spread it out and take so many actions per minute so that it doesn't get flagged. And then at the end of the week, what I recommend doing is going to Cleaner, the app Cleaner, and it will unfollow everybody who didn't follow you back. So it will operate in night mode, and there are some tutorials on this in our training, but it will operate in night mode and unfollow people who didn't follow you back. So you can do that 1 or 2 times a week. Stim Social is a service that you pay for, and you do have to do a little bit more work with it, but it finds people, it follows them and unfollows them so that you are growing your following that way. There are very affordable plans with that, but you do have to put in a little bit more work. If you go into our team page, Natasha has done some trainings on that. I personally use Jumper Media. It's a little bit more expensive, but if you are interested and you work full-time and you're like, I have money, I will spend I will invest in this business to have more time to do the other things I want to do. That has always been my mentality. Then let me know and I will give you the contact for Jumper Media. It is how I grow my Instagram and get about 2,000 followers a month. Well, I would say 1,500 to 2,000 a month. And it's just a service. I work with a person in real life and I tell her like what my interests are, what season of life I'm in. She puts these things into a computer and then it follows and unfollows people. And they have a whole system. It's kind of like STEM. These two programs are very similar. Jumper, I don't do anything. I just tell them who I'm looking for and they do it. STEM, you kind of have to do a little bit more, but it's more affordable and cheaper. So you decide, and if you want more info on that, let us know. And another option is Upwork. So this is what I did before I found Jumper Media. I went on Upwork and I found someone in the Philippines who would grow my Instagram for me and manually do the 531 method, manually search hashtags and find people and engage with them. And it was someone in the Philippines who charged very little money. So you can go on and put an ad out there that you're looking for someone, or you can search for people who do that. So that's an option too. I didn't grow as quickly with that, which is why when I found Jumper, I hopped on that, and that has been great for me. But there are way more affordable things that you can do if you don't have the time to manually do this yourself. So what I always say is if you are a stay-at-home mom and you are on a very strict budget, you're a one-income family, and you don't have any extra money, you do have a little more time. So you need to be on Instagram, growing your following, doing all of these things, engaging, searching, 531ing. But if you work a full-time job and you have kids and you have a little extra money because you're working, then you can invest in services that are going to give you more time to do the other things. So you kind of have to choose what you want to do there. And here are some bonus tips for you. So on Instagram, when you're making your post in your feed, it's really difficult to get the spacing right? I always say, type your posts in the Notes app on your phone and then copy and paste it into the app. But the spacing won't work and it'll just end up being one long paragraph. But if you go to this website, appsforlifehost.com, it is a line break generator. So I just have this open on my phone in my browser at all times. And anytime I write a post, I just go into that browser, I paste it into there, and you click generate, and it says generating copy, and then you paste it into Instagram and all of your line breaks show up. So you can have like chunks, different paragraphs. It's just not one long body of text. Next is buy a tripod. I bought one off Amazon. They're super cheap, like $10. And this is great. So you can put it across the room. I bought one that comes with a Bluetooth remote. So I just have the remote in my hand and then I'll stand across the room and I can take all different pictures. And I want you to realize that in order to get one photo for Instagram that looks good, I literally have to take at least 97. And that's not even an exaggeration. It takes at least 97 photos to get one good one. So you can't just take one photo and be like, okay, this will be good. You want to make sure that it's bright, it's clear, that no one's moving, especially if your kids are in it. You're gonna have to take a lot of photos. So a tripod is great also for recording your workout videos, or when you're out and about and you wanna do a video outside or take a photo outside, you have your tripod. I always have my tripod. It's small. It's just one for an iPhone. I have it in my bag with me at all times. And then batch content. So this is something I really did as a new coach when I was working full-time, going to grad school full-time, was pregnant, and just didn't have a lot of time or energy each day to wake up and be like, oh my God, what the hell am I going to post today? So what I would do on the weekends is take a bunch of photos and then write the captions for them. And then I would have them ready to go and I would post them. And I do this still to this day. So what I like to do is go on Instagram and I look at my Explore, just the normal page that comes up, the Explore page. And I don't look at Beachbody coaches. I make sure I look at other bloggers, people in other industries that take really cute photos, and I screenshot all the photos that I really like. And then I say, okay, I'm gonna recreate these photos this weekend. And so then on the weekend, I have a photo shoot. So I'll spend an hour when my husband is there. Well, he's retired now, but At the beginning, I would do it on the weekends because he was home to help me, and he would moan and groan the whole time, but I'm like, believe me, it's worth it. And now that he's retired, he's like, yes, all those photo shoots were worth it. But anyway, so we would stage, I would change my outfit, 7 times, and I would take 7 photos, and I would have my photos for the week. And then I would sit down and I would write my posts for the week, and I would be very intentional with, okay, Monday, this one is going to be about challenge groups, right? Tuesday, this one is going to be something about pregnancy, Wednesday. So whatever, your season of life is, that's what you want to do. Write out your posts so that every day you don't wake up and say, oh my God, what am I going to post today? I have nothing to post today. You have it already. And again, do not look at other Beachbody coaches. So that brings me to our last slide, the do's and don'ts. So number 1 is share your stories. So your Instagram stories, if you go into the settings, there is a little toggle button that says share to Facebook. So you want to link your Instagram and your Facebook together, and you want to hit that toggle button in the settings. So go open your Insta stories, click on the settings wheel, and then there's a little thing that says share to Facebook. Say yes. So you want to share. So what I do is I go into Instagram, I do my Instagram stories on Instagram, but they automatically go to Facebook. I don't have to then go to Facebook and put them in my stories. However, you do not want to do that with your actual posts that show up in your feed. Because for some reason, even though Facebook owns Instagram, Facebook doesn't like when content comes from an outside source. So you want to actually go to Instagram, post it, go to Facebook, post it. Next, look at non-Beachbody coaches for inspiration, right? That's what I do. That's where I get a lot of my photo inspiration from, not from coaches. And you do not want to find another coach and copy them. So that's the don't. Do not copy other people's posts. You can look at their photos for inspiration, right? I don't ever recreate photos exactly. I get inspired by their photos and think, oh, this is how I can put my own spin on that. But when you look at the caption, literally the worst absolute thing you could do is copy someone else's captions. Never, ever do that. Like, I am being so serious right now. I'm not joking. I have a really mean face. That is the worst thing you could do. Why? Because one, it's plagiarism, and you're above that. Number 2, that is not how your audience is going to connect with you, because that's not your voice. It's not your story. It's not who you are. And so people see through that and they will know that's not you. And so I have learned this the hard way. I am not saying that I haven't ever done this. As a new coach, there was another coach who I loved. So she wrote this post and I copied it and I changed it so that it was more me, but it tanked. Because it wasn't me. And I realized, oh my gosh, I can't look at these other coaches and try to do what they're doing because it's just not me. So it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt how your audience sees you and connects with you. And one, it's just unethical. So do not copy other people's posts. Next is write the posts in your notes app on your phone, because I have done this so many times. I have written my post in the Instagram app or the Facebook app, and then it crashes and I lose everything. And you don't want to do that. So again, write everything in your notes app, batch content it. A lot of times if I'm just out and about and something pops into my head, I'll go to my notes app and I'll just write a little prompt or a reminder of a post that I have in my head in my notes app. So then I copy it and I paste it. Another reason this is good, because then you can repurpose it. So every 3 to 4 months, I just scroll down and I take content that I've already used and I repost it. And I just copy and paste it from my own notes app. And then lastly is have patience and be consistent. So you absolutely have to be consistent. You cannot show up and post 2 times and then disappear for a week or 3 days or 2 days. At the most, you can miss 1 day. So at the most, I will skip 1 day of posting, and that's only now. For 4 years, I never missed a post. For 4 years straight, I showed up every single day. Even while I was in labor, after I had the baby, I showed up. But now that I have a decent following and a business, I have earned the right to take a day off of posting here and there. So, but if you are new to growing your feed and growing your following in business, you cannot take a day off from posting to social media. That's like the easiest and funnest part of this business. So you have to show up in some way. So be consistent. Do not take time off. and have patience and know that no, you're not going to get a bazillion likes and followers right away. It takes time. So don't get frustrated that you're not growing quickly enough. There is nothing more annoying to me than when a coach is like, oh, I've been doing this for 5 months and I don't have a bazillion followers. I'm like, okay, reality check here. Your page is still a hot mess and a work in progress. So you have to grow. And that's really everything in this business. I look back to when I was a new coach and I was very impatient because I had all these big goals and wanted to make all this money and have a big team, and it wasn't working because I was still learning myself. I was still refining who I was and finding out who I was and who my voice was and what my brand was. And that has evolved so much over the past 4 years. So where I am today, I mean, I'm a completely different person than when I started 4 years ago. There's no way that I could have had the success I have today 4 years ago because I wasn't prepared 4 years ago. I had to learn and grow into this role, into this position. And you have to have that mentality too, that where you are today, if you're a newer coach, you are not prepared or equipped. Even though you think you are and you're eager to be successful, you have to learn and grow into the coach and influencer that you want to be. And that takes time. So you have to have patience and you have to be willing to learn and evolve and grow. And how do you think I learned all of these things? From watching 9 million YouTube videos and podcasts and reading books on Instagram. I have studied and learned and done trial and error. It took me years to get to this point. And so I'm giving you everything that I know upfront quickly in a nice, neat package so you can cut the learning curve in half and you can have quicker success on Instagram. That's the whole reason I'm doing this right now with a sore throat. But I want you to also have patience and know that it takes time for people to like you, to trust you, and to know you, and then to eventually join you. So that is all I have for you. Now go crush it.